Bourne returns to Eamon's house after dropping off Marley. He found a cell phone in the killer's pocket. He dialed the number of the killer's last contact. The call came from the CIA station in Paris. When she saw that it was the killer's cell phone, Nikki transferred it directly to CIA headquarters. Conklin answered the phone. Bourne said nothing. Conklin instructed his men to prepare a location. The aide asked for a code name. The amnesiac Bourne didn't know any code names. He asked who he was. Conklin calls Bourne by his first name. Bourne asks why he's sending an assassin to kill him, but Conklin has no answer. He just wants Bourne to come back to HQ. He wants Bourne to tell him where Marley is. Bourne has lied about Marley being dead. Conklin pretends to be sorry. Bourne requests a meeting with Conklin at 5:30 this afternoon. At the Pont Neuf, Paris, at 5:30 this afternoon. He wants to see him alone. He told him to walk to the middle of the bridge and take off his coat. He hung up. Conklin had no choice but to accept the invitation to go to Paris. His boss, Abbott, was very upset by his reckless behavior. But Conklin was confident he could handle it. So he boarded a plane in the middle of the night for Paris. Conklin knew what Bourne was capable of. So as soon as he arrived in Paris, he asked the CIA to protect him. As a seasoned agent, Bourne was well prepared. He was already on the opposite floor, watching the people on the bridge. He knew at once that they were guards sent by Conklin. He knew immediately that they were Conklin's guards. Soon Bourne spotted Conklin. He walked to the middle of the bridge and took off his jacket. Then he picked up the phone. It was Bourne. Bourne was furious at this death-defying Conklin. He cancelled the meeting on the spot. Before he left, he placed a tracking device on the CIA car. Conklin seemed to be aware of Bourne's methods. He had one of his men call Nikki. He told her to erase all information about the Paris office. Just as he's about to shut it down, Bourne followed him here. He overheard their conversation. At that moment, another assassin arrives in Paris. Who will he kill? Late at night, Bourne uses a jammer to make cars on the street sound their sirens, to get the guards' attention, so he could climb the stairs. Upstairs, Conklin had just drawn his gun. Suddenly the power to the house was cut. Nikki knew it had to be Bourne. Conklin looked around in fear. Bourne emerged from his room and warned him not to move. He ordered him to drop the gun. Conklin had no choice but to drop the gun. As he dropped the gun, Bourne tortured him. Bourne asked him if he was an obstacle. Conklin pushed Bourne out of the way. He asked him why the mission had failed, and that Bourne is one of his men. He's also property of the United States. A $30 million murder weapon. Bourne wanted to know why he'd killed him. Conklin mentioned Marseille, and he remembered that he'd gone to kill Wombosi. He didn't want Wombosi's little girl to see him. That's why he was merciful. But as he turned to leave, he was shot. The memories he pieced together were painful for Bourne. He no longer wanted to be a killer. But Conklin says he has no choice. Bourne warned him that he was dead. He wanted him to announce his death to the CIA. Then he punches Conklin in the face, knocking him out. By now the guards downstairs are sneaking up on him. It's time for Bourne to show what he can do. Bourne takes care of a little guy like that in a matter of seconds. There's another one on the stairs. He has two guns on him at once. The stunned one gets up and Bourne picks him up and slams him into the railing. The guy ends up dead at the hands of one of his own. The killer downstairs is about to come up to kill the killer downstairs. Bourne went right at the guy. He flew into the air and shot him, although he found a traitor. But Bourne's internal organs were also injured from the fifth floor leap. He could only endure the pain and flee quickly. Shortly after Bourne left, Conklin woke up. He was disappointed to see all of his men dead. Conklin is walking down the street, lost. Suddenly, an assassin appears across the street, waiting for him. Before Conklin could react, the killer shot him. Then, fearing that he was still alive, he came back and shot him again. Obviously, the assassin was sent to kill Conklin. It was his top man, Abbott. Abbott also announced the end of the Treadstone program at the meeting. Then he announced a new program called Black Rose. 3 months later, Bourne found Marley running a shop on the beach. Bourne's sudden appearance made Marley's heart swell with joy. The two embraced like lovers, and the rest of their lives began happily ever after.